This is Dracula by Bram Stoker, retold by Chris Rice at the pre-intermediate level. Chapter 5. Professor Van Helsing. Professor Abraham Van Helsing arrived at Hillingdon 3 days later. He looked at Lucy for a few minutes. Then he went back to Amsterdam. The next day, Lucy seemed better. But if Lucy seemed better, Renfield did not. He was very quiet after his escape. He just sat in a corner without speaking. Dr. Seward tried to start conversations with him, but Renfield always answered in the same way. "He's left me. There's no hope. He's left me." On the third day after Van Helsing's visit, Lucy became ill again. Dr. Seward immediately asked Van Helsing to return. The professor arrived the following evening, and Dr. Seward took him up to Lucy's room. Lucy was worse than before. She was very pale and weak. As Van Helsing looked at her, excited voices from the doorway broke the silence. It was Arthur Holmwood and Quincy Morris. "I came as soon as I could," said Arthur. "She's worse, I hear." Van Helsing took the two men outside and said, "She is in the greatest danger." "Danger?" cried Arthur. "But what can we do? I will give the blood from my body to save her." "Good," Van Helsing replied. "That is exactly what she needs. She has lost most of the blood from her body, and she needs the blood of a young and healthy man like you. Please, Mr. Holmwood, take off your coat. We must act immediately." Without a word, Arthur took off his coat and pulled up the arm of his shirt. Lucy didn't feel the cut that was made in her arm. She was too ill. 10 minutes later, the blood from Arthur's arm began to give color to her pale face again, and her breaths became easier. "We will now leave Miss Lucy. She must sleep," Van Helsing said. "Tomorrow I shall return, but we have to do one more thing before we leave." He went downstairs and returned with a box. He put it on Lucy's bed. "Open it," he said with a smile. Lucy put her hand in the box and pulled out some little white flowers. "Oh," she said, "these are garlic flowers. Is this a joke, Professor?" Van Helsing looked at her seriously, rested his hand on hers, and said, "This is no joke. Please take them, or you will be in great danger." He saw that she was frightened, so he continued in a softer voice, "Do not be afraid. I am here to help you. These flowers look ordinary, but they can protect you, believe me." Van Helsing stood up. While the others watched with surprise, he shut the windows. Then he took a handful of the flowers and pressed them all round the windows, the door, and the fireplace. Finally, he made a small ring with the other flowers and placed it around Lucy's neck. "Do not open the windows or the door tonight," he told her before he left, "and do not take these flowers from your neck. It is very, very important." The next day at 8 o'clock, Van Helsing and Dr. Seward went together to the Westenra house. They were met by Lucy's mother. "Lucy seems better," she said. "I've just looked into her room. She was sleeping well, so I didn't wake her up." "Good," said the professor. "So my idea was successful." "Perhaps my idea was successful too," Mrs. Westenra smiled. "I went into her room before I went to bed last night. She was sleeping quietly, but there was no air in the room, and there was a strong smell from some terrible flowers round her neck. I took them away and opened the windows. You'll be pleased with her, I'm sure." Van Helsing's face went pale. He said nothing because he knew about Mrs. Westenra's weak heart. It was dangerous to frighten her. But when she left the room, he ran up the stairs to Lucy. "This is bad news," Van Helsing said to Seward, carefully studying Lucy's pale face. "I have returned to Amsterdam I have to return to Amsterdam today, but you must sleep in this house every night, in this room, if necessary. Boxes of fresh flowers will arrive every day. You must do exactly what I did last night. I shall return in 4 days, or before if you need me. Guard her well. Guard her? Dr. Seward asked himself as Van Helsing left the room. Guard her against what?